Welcome to the January edition of North St. Paul Notes. I'm your host, Paul Anderson. Coming up in the next half hour, we're going to learn about the Polar Ridge Senior Housing Complex. Stay tuned, North St. Paul Notes is straight ahead. Hello, and welcome to the January edition of North St. Paul Notes. We hope this show will keep you up to date on the news and events that are of interest to the residents of North St. Paul. Today we're going to learn about the Polar Ridge Senior Housing Complex. With me today is Natalie Burnell, who is the Executive Director of Polar Ridge, and Deb Bland, who is the Marketing Director for Polar Ridge. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
It's good to have you with us, and hopefully people will find Polar Ridge an interesting place and want to move in right away, except they can't yet.
No, so, we have to wait till April 1st.
Right. So I did always try to bring in a little history, and I had mentioned some of that to you when I spoke to you earlier. And the location where the facility is going to be or is under construction was formerly just a strip of homes. Most recently, it was a Bartholomew body shop, and then before that, as I mentioned, it was just homes. But across the street was the Luger Furniture Company, and that was one of the earliest businesses or factories that came to North St. Paul, and they had employed quite a few people and were in business until the 1960s, I guess. Maybe it was 70. But anyway, then I didn't mention this, but just west of you, in the area down below this facility, your facility, was the Franklin Field, which was the baseball park, community baseball park. And of course, that's now where Franklin Apartments is located.
Okay.
So that's just a little bit of history. And I did mention to you the fact that there used to be a bridge over the railroad tracks where Helen Street went across the railroad up to the high school. And I told you, I think that whenever cars went over, it would sound like thunder all over town. So that's just another little piece of that history. But Polar Ridge is part of a larger operation. Can you tell me about the company that you're part of?
Sure. We're managed by Tealwood Management, and they basically they specialize in senior living, basically skilled nursing facilities, independent living, assisted living, memory care, and care suites. So so that's our niche, Tealwood. Okay. So we own or manage, I think it's 45 properties, and most of them are in Minnesota.
Okay.
So
that's quite a large operation then. So, and this is just adding to that number again. So.
And they're still growing.
And they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Tell me about the facility that is under construction right now, and it's pretty hard to miss if you go down Highway 36.
Yep.
But people aren't always familiar with what that is when they see it.
It's a huge complex, that's true. It's 114 units, and we start with independent living, which has 39 units dedicated to that service. And
so
then
independent living, these are people who can take care of themselves?
Correct.
And,
they don't need any nursing services, that type of format. So really, truly independent living. They can come and go, can still drive their vehicles, go grocery shopping, but then still be part of the activities and pieces that are inside in the central common areas. We have other things such as a salon, there's dining, there's bistros, we have fitness centers, Natalie will talk about the wellness. There's quite a few pieces that come together. It's almost like a community within a community. And then we go into assisted living, which is 54 units. 14 are dedicated in there for memory care. And then we have 7 that's dedicated for enhanced care suites. So it's a tier of level of care services as their needs grow.
A full spectrum. And one thing that sets us apart a little bit is if you look at other senior living complexes around the cities, usually it's a blended model between assisted living and independent living.
What by blended model? What does that mean?
So it means if you have you know, an apartment, if you have apartments, you might be living next to someone that's assisted living, even though you're independent. And that's one thing that differentiates us, is we have a building dedicated solely to independent living.
Okay.
And really that, my understanding is that was a response that when they decided to build here in North St. Paul, that was the feedback that they were getting, is that people wanted a truly independent living building.
So there was some research done in advance to find out what the needs are.
But there's some comfort. You get preferential as far as you know, moving to assisted living if you already live within the community. Also to memory care as well, and I do think of it as the full spectrum of care, because care suites is a very high level of care, high staffing.
I was going to ask about care suites as opposed to just assisted care. What is the difference there?
So we have a higher staffing ratio in care suites, and we're able to offer, you know, much higher level of care. You know, there are times where a lot of people might be end of life on hospice. You know, it might be that they're recovering from a surgery. There can be, a lot of times it'll help you avoid a move to a nursing home. So we're able to provide high level of care in an assisted living setting.
I think one thing I thought about was, and I forgot to ask you before, when, say, a couple is living in independent living and one of the couple, part of the group, needs assisted care, what happens in that kind of situation?
So there's a couple of options. You know, the one spouse could stay living in independent living and the other spouse move to assisted living. You do have to move to assisted living to get care, because we have the truly independent living building, and that building isn't staffed like it is in assisted living. So they can do that, or they could both move over to assisted living. We've got levels of care, and then if the one spouse does not need much care at all, they would be on what is called our wellness package, and there'd be a second occupant fee. So there's, you know, and you can crunch numbers, and it would depend on what, you know, what the couple is comfortable with.
Okay, but the units, assisted living and independent living units, are completely separated.
Correct.
The buildings are connected.
Right. The second and third floor, there's a corridor that connects the buildings.
Okay.
And with that, for the independent, we have 11 different floor plans, from one bedroom plus den, and 2 bedroom. We go up to 2 bedrooms with 2 baths, which really isn't really common. So we've got a lot of people interested in that type of unit. But then also in assisted living, we still continue with another different set of 11 different floor plans, again going from 1 bedroom plus den, 2 bedrooms. There we don't have the 2 bathrooms, but again, they're large units and that. So we've been having people come in and on different levels, independent and assisted, and that, and reserving. So we've been moving quite a bit pretty quickly.
Okay.
And that, so we're kind of thinking by April 1st we'll be pretty close. And that, so, but it's been great meeting people from the community, and a lot of North St. Paul people have that interest to come to Polar Ridge.
I think so. There's
that's
seems
great.
to be a desire that if you grew up here, you want to continue living here.
Yeah, some are moving back from different communities.
Back to North St. Paul. Yeah, our interest is very local. And so, and I think that's important for people to know that are considering Polar Ridge, because there's some comfort in thinking it's a big decision to move, but thinking about moving someplace where you're going to have familiar faces, you're going to know people.
Sure.
And it may be that you haven't seen them for years too. So there's a blend of both.
Yeah, right. Now these units they're not for sale. They're
Correct.
These are
For rent.
rental.
Rental
units.
With the independent, there is a lease, a year's lease.
Okay.
And that with the assisted living, they're going monthly. And that we don't have what they call as a large deposit. We have a community fee, a one-time fee. And what our clients and residents that are coming to us now is they're using half of that dollars to reserve their unit. So they're putting X amount of dollars down and that to reserve, and then getting ready for April 1st. Some are moving from their homes that they've been in 40, 50, and some even 60 years.
And
So
those are people, by the way, who probably need to have a two-bedroom place, at least.
yeah, yeah.
They might have some
Downsizing is usually part of the picture.
It is.
Oftentimes
That's
for people.
painful part.
It
Yep.
is. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so when people come in to visit with us, we can show them the floor plans, the individual apartments. We can show them colors, carpets, wall colorings, countertops. We even have 2 luxury units that have tile and granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and that. So a little more upscale for their liking if they wish.
Depends on what people are used to, I suppose, too.
Right,
Right.
right. And we do allow for pets. So we have some families that are interested.
okay.
They have little dogs, and there's one I know of that has a cat that she's talking to us. So that makes it nice for them because they don't want to lose that part of their family.
I suppose a lot of places are restricted as to pets. And
Yeah.
that would cut out quite a few people, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So there's a great interest there too.
And this is strictly for seniors, at least 55 or older.
55
Correct.
and plus, correct. Yeah.
Or older or plus.
Yep.
Depends on how you want to word it, I guess. You mentioned that there's really a high demand for extended care. Can you talk about that a little bit? What causes that, or why?
Well, you know, our population is changing too, and a lot is happening within the skilled facilities. They're downsizing, and you see more and more assisted livings and buildings such as ours coming up. Our baby boomers are coming up. They're not even really at the age group that we're working with right now. So as we progress, the housing need is going to increase. And Tealwood is on board with that, like Natalie had said, 45 plus units. And they're more rural, and so that's really comforting for people that don't want to move into the city area. They want to stay where they're at, where their roots are. So for us, it's really comforting to be with that type of company with those plans and that. So that's important to us too.
Okay. And you mentioned various options. I think you mentioned some of those in the independent living area. Can you go over that a little more
With what's included in their rent?
Yeah.
Utilities is one. A lot of ladies love the fact that there's washer and dryer in each unit, so they don't have to go down the hall
Right.
to do their laundry. They're not digging for quarters, which is always great.
Sure.
Change sometimes can be an obstacle. In the kitchens, you have your fridge, stove, microwave, and dishwasher. Each unit also has their own furnace and AC. They control their heat.
They do. Okay.
We have underground parking. That's included.
That's for independent living.
For independent living.
That's one space. Is that what it
Correct.
amounts to? Okay.
I'm trying to think. They get light housekeeping.
Basic cable package. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But what we've been doing is we've been meeting with people one-on-one because there's a lot of information to take in.
Sure.
And that way we can go over the information, answer questions,
Right.
be able to send them home with something to think about. And in fact, we've set up a couple of informational sessions coming up here
Right.
on January 20th. It'll be at City Hall on the second floor in the training room, and there'll be one at 10 a.m. and the other one at 5:30 p.m. And that way people can kind of have an overview as to what we have to offer. And then also at the end of the session, anyone that wants to set up an appointment with us to kind of talk one-on-one and go over information with them we'll be doing that as well.
Did you say a date?
Yes, January 20th.
20th, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So at City Hall.
Okay, that's
So.
important to emphasize, I think.
Yep.
'Cause
It's really, it's a nice way to come in and just hear what we have to say, you know, and then depending on your interest level, then you can, you know, introduce yourselves to us and, you know, we can answer any other questions or, like I said, if you want to set up a meeting. You know, most of our meetings, you know, because of the amount of information we have to go over, they're between an hour and a half.
Okay.
And we block those off per person just so that it doesn't have to feel rushed.
Right.
And there's always a lot of questions afterwards too.
And I know that you had mentioned before that you prefer not to talk about prices in a general sense because there's a lot of misunderstanding about that, and there's not a lot, you're not able to tell people right then that what the benefits are besides.
Exactly.
Showing the value,
Yeah.
really, because there is a lot that goes into it.
Sure.
And so, you know, if we were to throw pricing out there, we're not able to show you what is within that pricing. So there's other considerations as well. And so, you know, there's no secret about our pricing. We've, you know, we've done a competitive analysis, and so we're very competitively priced. We're priced at market rate. So
The market rate means?
the market rate means that, you know, for a similar product, you know, in the area, we're priced in the size of apartment, that sort of thing, that our competitors, we're priced right in there.
Okay.
So,
I know that there's there's often when people might just do a preliminary search and find out prices, they would say, "Oh, well, that's way beyond what I ever thought I'd pay," and
Actually,
so
it's
then they don't know all the facts, but
right.
they make a decision just based on a price.
Well, that is one of the benefits with it being market rate, because when we are talking to people that are calling, and some really do want to know the dollars in that, and the majority of them they're very happy with the pricing. And that we do get a few that feel it might be a little bit high.
Sure.
And that's to be expected, but for the majority that we've gotten some great response.
Okay. Well, that's good. Good to hear.
Yeah.
It doesn't scare everyone away then.
Right.
That's a good sign, I guess. You had mentioned the wellness program. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Sure.
7 dimensions of wellness?
we do. We have 7 dimensions of wellness, and that's something that's unique to Tealwood as well. Basically, we work one-on-one with each person and kind of curtail a program to their goals and their needs. We're looking at the whole person. We do a social questionnaire. You know, there's different things that are included within that, from nutrition to exercise. In memory care, we have iPods with a playlist. So, you know, there's just different pieces that go into that. It's a completely optional program. I mean, it's there for people to take advantage of, and that is that's available across the campus, from independent living, assisted living, memory care, and care suites.
Okay. So that's something it's ongoing and not every day necessarily, but
Yep.
I guess it's not entirely clear to me, but it sounds like another good benefit of the facility.
Definitely.
Yeah. So can you describe the apartments a little bit more and give us an idea of what you mentioned some of the sizes, but the smallest to the largest?
On independent, we start with 754 square feet, and we go up to 1,192 square feet.
Okay.
And so within those 11 different floor plans, that's where all the choices come in. We're really looking at what are their needs. And if they're used to a 2-bedroom, but they are fine with a den, we can show them the floor plans with a 1-bedroom and a den. So it's really finding out what they need to be comfortable in their new home, and then showing what options that we have to offer with the amenities.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're full apartments. So there's some good space in it. You know, our 1-bedroom in independent living starts at 754 square feet. most of our apartments in assisted living, can you do this off the top of your head?
It's 605 for square feet.
That's a studio, right?
That's the one bedroom.
That's a one bedroom, okay.
Okay.
And then we go on up. And I apologize, I don't remember the square footage for the largest in assisted living. I want to say it's comparable. It's over 1,000 square feet.
Oh, it is. Okay.
But I don't remember the
I think
exact
it's
number.
1,018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that I know it's over 1,000.
Yeah.
And then 2-bedroom
There's
with
a lot to
French
memorize.
doors.
Lots of figures to deal with. So I'd have a problem with that too, so don't feel bad.
Okay.
What about food options? What are the arrangements for that?
Well, we're gonna
Have a dining program.
Yep.
So, and that's on second floor of assisted living. So, our meals are included in assisted living, memory care, and care suites. Those are included. There's always guest meals that are available. People that live over in independent living, if they're interested, they can sign up for a meal program as well. If they do, say, like every lunch, which is our big meal of the day, there'll be a price break for that versus purchasing them independently, which they can do too. They can pop over and have something for lunch that's on our anytime menu, or if they call ahead and let us know, so we can plan accordingly, then they can also have the entree that'll be served that day. So we've got some great equipment as well, so that we're going to be able to offer some really nice.
So there's going to be a full
Food.
kitchen at least.
Definitely.
Right.
Especially for the assisted living, I suppose. But
Correct. And a lot of places may not offer the 3 meals where we're offering the 3 meals. We will have a chef on board and that. So there's a private dining area that our residents can reserve that dining area. And if they wanted to do something a little bit different, the chef can prepare something. There is an added cost there, but it's still another choice, another service that's provided. And that so families can come in and enjoy our campus.
if somebody has guests to their place, they can reserve
There's lots
additional
of-
meals.
Yep, and there's
them.
lots of common space to reserve as well throughout the campus. So if someone is having a 100th birthday party and they want to have 100 people,
Right.
we can accommodate smaller size up to a larger size, and they can bring in their own food or they can have us cater it.
Okay.
So there's just options.
You had
So-
mentioned something about other benefits for the community that could be used by community.
Right. For Girl
people.
Scouts, Boy Scouts, Lions, in that if they need community space to hold a board meeting, those type of activities, we've got the space that we can offer.
Okay.
It's being a part of the community and being able to bring
Sure.
community members in and sharing our space and what we're about. Yeah.
One other thing that we'll have available in our assisted living memory care and care suites is we're partnering with Bluestone Physicians. And so it's a service that's available if residents decide they're interested in it, but there will be a physician group that we work with very closely. So some people might already have a physician set up in the area and are very comfortable and want to stay with that physician, and that's great. But for those where it's harder to get out, especially a lot of times when people are in memory care, it can be, quite an ordeal to leave and then come back, and the winter and all of that. So that is an option if people are interested in that. The continuity of care and the quality of care is so high, and that's why we offer that.
Okay. What kind of interest have you seen so far?
A ton.
A lot.
So
Is that a good sign or not?
that's a wonderful sign. The city of North St. Paul has been a wonderful partner. They started a list for us once it was announced that we were going to be
Right.
building here. And so we have been working with that list, and then also working as time has gone on and people have found out about us, being up and coming here. This week here we had a flyer go out in the Lily newspaper. I think we had 20,000 go out, and so so the phone has
It's
been
ringing.
busy.
Sure.
So and like Deb mentioned, we're filling up, and by April 1st we are expecting our independent living to be full. I think that is
that right?
easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And is that the move-in time?
April 1st, April Fool's Day. So everybody remember, April Fools.
I'm not sure they want to remember that. But that'll be interesting to see how that goes and whether it's all ready by that time. It looks like it's going to be, though.
It's coming along great. We're going to be putting up, I've been taking some virtual tours and that so people can see.
Sure.
That's the downside of the building being built. We can't take people in to show. It's a
Sure.
safety issue. So we've been really creative on how we can show different avenues and different units and community rooms and the underground parking and that. So, and that really has helped. And that, so a lot of people know it's a good value for their dollar and they're reserving, and there's a lot of excitement. Not only that, but also for employment. There's a lot of excitement for that community.
About that,
Yeah.
because that's going to provide quite a few jobs, I would imagine. So do you have any estimate on the number of employees you're going to have?
I think the estimate is a total of 70 employees.
70?
So,
Oh, wow.
and you know, there'll be a ramp-up phase as
Sure.
well. But right now, I think, well, we've got the majority of our department heads hired. They haven't all started yet. But starting in February, on our website, you'll be able to access what we have for jobs available. And that's PolarRidgeSeniorLiving.com.
Okay.
So, and that takes you to our parent company, Tealwood, and you would select North St. Paul, and you'd be able to see what positions are posted.
Okay.
So.
You took away one of my questions was, what is your website?
Okay.
And so you just said it, but say it again, just to make sure that...
Polar Ridge Senior Living, all one word,
all one word.
.com.
Okay. That
Yeah.
should be easy to remember. And how about a phone number? Is there a number that they can call you at?
Absolutely. It's 651-770-4028.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to mention? We just have a couple minutes left, so
Okay.
anything else that you...
I guess one
would
other
like to
thing
get
that
across?
I think is kind of fun too is we are going to have a bus. And so it's an activities bus. And so that's going to go out and about where our residents are interested in going.
Okay.
And so there also will be weekly shopping. And what we've heard from people is even people that are going to live in independent living and that still drive, they kind of like the idea of being able to hop on the bus and run wherever. You know, when it's cold outside, or you know, if the you know, they don't feel like driving.
The garage will be heated, though.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a rinse station in the garage too.
Yes, there is. There's a
which is
lot of
kind
people
fun.
that like that.
Okay.
And also we have a chapel. St.
see.
Peter's Church has reached out to us, and
I
we'll
see.
be on their
Okay.
route. So that'll be great. A lot of
Sure.
interest in what churches are coming forward.
Right.
And as we get rolling more, we'll be in more contact with them.
Sure.
But that's an important piece, too, for our
Yep.
residents. And
Well, we're going to reach out to the local churches and partner with them.
Sure.
So because residents that move in with us will be from all different denominations.
Right.
So
Well, we are out of time, so
okay.
I appreciate both of you coming in today and
Thanks
talking
for
about
having
it.
us.
And
Yeah.
it's going to be exciting to see. Join us again next month when we'll bring you more news about North St. Paul. I'm Paul Anderson, speaking for everyone at the City of North St. Paul. Thank you for watching.